We will move on to the Most Improved Player Award. This was John Morant's award last year, who he then gave to Desmond Bain. There's an argument for a guy who's made a similar star to superstar jump this year for the award. We'll see if he gets any love. And we'll go to the guy who wasn't quite in agreement about such a high caliber player getting the award last year, that being Tyrik, who did not have Ja winning the award last year. We'll get Tyrik's thoughts first on who should win Most Improved Player this season.
Yeah, I still hate that John Morant won the award. He knows that he shouldn't have won it. I think everybody around the NBA knows, except for the people that voted for the award, because he's a guy that's expected to make a jump, and there are guys this season that were expected to make those jumps too. That's why I have Lauri Markkanen as my winner, because I didn't expect him to make this big a jump this season. I also had like Jalen Brunson as like number 2. He was probably the closest guy that I maybe thought about, but I kind of expected Brunson to take a nice size jump this season, but Lowry went from being somebody that was like a 4th option, I guess, like in Cleveland, who was just kind of like, signed late into the offseason to go to Cleveland in the sign and trade, to somebody that was an afterthought in the Donovan Mitchell trade. It was more, we were thinking about like Colin Sexton being the main piece, to being an all-star this year. And potentially could get some real all-NBA consideration, considering how elite he's been this season. Stepped his game up to a new level, is setting records in Utah. He's had such a great season, man, and he took the jump from I think like 16 points per game last season to 25, which is a very, very large jump. So he's my most improved player this season, and I think he fits the mold of what an MIP has traditionally been in the past.
Yeah, I have the exact same 1 and 2 that you do. I just think looking at both of their resumes, Jalen Brunson's had a great season, but similar to what you said, we kind of saw flashes of this last season, especially thinking back to what he did in the playoffs when Luka missed those games. That was like small sample size, but we saw, this guy has some real potential to be something great. And he's went to New York, and he's really turned their franchise around from where they were in a down point last year. But Lowry's just been incredible, going from kind of underwhelming on the Bulls, had some flashes early on, but really kind of middled out, plateaued early. And then going into Cleveland in a bit of a logjam where it was like, you've got Mobley, you've got Allen, and then he's that other kind of forward big type of guy. And he got out of there, and he might be the best one out of the 3 this season. It's quite the turnaround. It's quite the jump in all aspects of the game. And while they probably won't end up making the playoffs, the fact that he had that team competitive as they were, especially when they had some better pieces before the trade deadline, very impressive.
It's really crazy, too, from what we thought of him when he joined Cleveland to where he is now, just from not even from just a talent standpoint, but how we view him positionally and from how he can fill into multiple different roles. I mean, when he was brought to Cleveland, people thought, okay, Mobley's there, Allen's there. He's going to come off the bench as a 4, or they're going to start him at the 3, and it's going to be a disaster. And it wasn't a disaster. And now you wouldn't even bat an eye about someone calling Lauri Markkanen a small forward, or at least considering the fact that he can play there and be effective. He's just completely flipped the narrative of what he can do on a basketball court, what roles he can actually fill, and how productive he can be. And he just seems like the clear favorite for this award. There will certainly be some love for SGA, but as you mentioned, Tyrik, he's just that type of guy where you expect that jump. He has shown that he's going to continue to improve and is going to become that superstar caliber guy. And that's just not traditionally what this award is. This is a surprising improvement, not a I'm in year 3, I'm in year 4, and I am now continuing my expected trajectory to become a star. And that's no disrespect to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because he's had a brilliant year. But when a guy is in first and second all-team, all-NBA conversations, it's probably a sign that they aren't the most likely most improved player winner, at least based on historical picks. And it's no different this year. Lauri is my pick as well. Brunson's also my number 2. And I wanted to give Nicholas Claxton some love at number 3 because he's shown a lot of improvement this year for the Brooklyn Nets. But Lauri was definitely my pick here without much doubt in my mind.
I like Clax, man. He's had a great season. The title of my video when Lowry did get traded in that signing trade to Cleveland, I said I don't like the Cavaliers trade for Lauri Markkanen. That's how I felt about him as a player. And then fast forward like a little over a year later, we're talking about him in this light as an all-star, most improved player type of guy, and we'll probably get some all-NBA consideration across the league. Like, that is the definition of a most improved player. Somebody, like Gabe said, in Chicago, it was kind of rocky. He had some high moments, but the low moments were very, very bad. To now, it's like he's a 25-point per game guy. The best player on his team, even though, their future, we'll see how that looks, but he's been their best player, was an all-star this year. Shout out to Lowry, because I don't think anybody saw this coming, really, maybe outside of super fans of Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
I think a big thing last year, there just wasn't somebody who had a super strong case in that traditional surprise out of nowhere type jump. Like, the guy who was in second that Ja gave his award to, Desmond Bain, second-year guy, and that's usually the traditional, like, oh, you expect a guy to take a massive jump in that second year, so you wouldn't want to give it to him. But on the other hand, you did have Ja, who was that, like, star to superstar level jump. So really, anybody who was in any sort of serious contention last year just didn't fit that traditional mold, so it was going to go in a weird direction unless it was, like, somebody who was clearly not as improved as maybe Ja was, even based on the level it was on.
You guys both had Ja, didn't you?
Yes.
I think I had Jordan Poole, and he jumped from like 12 points to 18 points a game. But yeah, Gabe does have a great point. Like, everybody that maybe did take a big jump was like Tyrese Maxey, Desmond Bain. Those are year two guys, so it's like it's not traditional to give it to a year two guy. I don't remember the last time a year two guy won the award, so it does make sense. But yeah, hopefully the Ja Morant thing does not change what they see a most improved player as, because if so, then Shai's probably going to win the award.
Yeah, agreed. Like, I know you saw my tweet about it the other day, Tyrik. Like, there's discussions of whether Mikal Bridges wins most improved player next year. And it's like, where does he improve from? He's averaging over 27 a night since he's joined Brooklyn. Like, if he was going to win MIP, it would be this year, not next year. Because that's just the type of level where next year, Mikal Bridges isn't in MIP conversations. He's an all-star and all-NBA conversations if he continues to play at this level.
Yeah.
So it's honestly, Mikal Bridges is like a larger sample size of what's holding back Jalen Brunson this year. Pretty much. I mean, just the fact of where he was already and what we knew he could do. Like, Jalen Brunson, we saw that at the very end of last season. And not saying he didn't have flashes throughout the season, but really shined at the end of last season. Mikal Bridges is doing this for like 30 games.
He's been in Brooklyn for a minute. It seems like it's been like damn near the whole year. Like, I can't even picture him in the Suns jersey anymore.
Yeah, no, he's been crazy in Brooklyn.
I think I can't push the Mikal Bridges agenda, so I'm gonna just stick with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Next year is gonna be the year.
Get real.
Indeed. It's got to be the year. It's 1 year away from being 1 year away.
Legit.
I drafted him in basketball fantasy 1 year, and then I stopped playing basketball fantasy after that.
Oh, man.
We might need to make a like this could be like sometime during the playoffs, like maybe a dead spot. I don't know. Or maybe like early off season. Like, just do a way too early awards picks. Like, way too early.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for MIP, because we need Nickeil Alexander-Walker in there. So.
Jeez. Got to.
It's got to be there.